So you're all travelling north from the northern fishing village of the Cold Loch. Adrick has pointed you all in the direction of a split in the mountainside of the ice spires. Devoid of any man-made landmarks. This is more of a natural trail, a natural path that you're all taking. The ground that the cart is trundling over is getting a bit rocky in some places, but with the help of Loch, who has a knack of this whilst he's reading his book from time to time, just because the areas isn't particularly the most interesting. There's a boulder here, a boulder there, gravel, shale, slate, the odd mini landslide here and there because of the thundering feet of Harshnag behind you all. The air is cold, the wind is bitter. It does go through you all, but with the clothing that you all managed to get when you were at Citadel Adbar, as well as some of the scarves that Bree has picked out for each of you, it does manage to guard you against most of the wind that passes through. Weylin, trying to keep warm. What are you currently doing? Are you inside the cart, outside the cart?
At what pace is the cart going?
The cart isn't going as fast as it has been, mainly because of the some of the rocks that jut out from the natural trail that you are on. So it's not going to take you as quick as you had hoped when you worked it out back at the village. But the cart isn't at risk of dismantling itself from all the vibrations and everything. So it is definitely a slightly faster than a walking pace, but nowhere near as strenuous as like a jog.
All right, okay. Weylin would most likely, unless we pick up speed, be outside on the side or front, just trying to pick up on anything out of place with regards to tracks.
Okay. You don't notice anything too much out of the ordinary. The terrain does have a mixture of rocks. A lot of it hasn't been disturbed for some time. You can see where the snow, where it does bank up along the escarpment, and then when it melts and trundles down the side, where it flows, you can see that it has carved certain, almost like mini rivers, like striations through the dirt. So the surrounding area, even though it looks stable, when you do come to a looser area, the footsteps of Harshnag does make it slide ever so slightly. Not to draw concern, but it would be worth to maybe not have too much of a loud booming noise through the ravine until you notice some more stabler ground.
Okay.
Within the cart, Coco, you are at the back. You are under the tarpaulin, the canvas. The wind doesn't necessarily get into this area, but when the wind does pass straight down, parallel, along the path, it is very chilly. What are you doing, my friend?
I'm just sort of sat at the back, just writing some stuff down on a bit of parchment now and again, sort of thinking like ahead.
Okay.
Having a little ponderous little look now and again. Then I go back to scribbling.
Okay. Anything in particular that you're looking at?
No, just thinking, remembering things.
Okay. Loch, you've got hold of the reins. The oxen are temperamental from time to time, and you do have to crack the whip and pull the reins here and there just to get them back on track. The trail, you know where it is, but sometimes you do lose track of where you have to steer them. But with the help of Adrick pointing you from time to time, you do get them back in line. You're pretty good at handling these animals, and as such, you do have a chance to look through some of your belongings. What's going through Loch's mind as we go through this cold mountain gorge?
He's still thinking back to the visions, how a specific face or person keeps cropping up, a face and a person he hasn't seen for a long time. So I think that's going to be playing on my mind at the minute. Any chance I get, I'll be reading through the book that we got from Philly.
Yeah. As you've flicked through the pages of the tome, this thick book, you do keep flicking back and forth around the formation of Silvery Moon, that A4 picture depicting that person that you haven't seen for a good, I'd say, a good year or two. And even then, you weren't necessarily close towards the end of your time together with being under their wing, let's say. But you do find some little tidbits of information where they helped form the initial settlement of Silvery Moon, gave safe haven to all varieties of elven kind, not necessarily just the forest elves. And you have the high elves that do wander the plain of Toril from time to time, and even some more eccentric looking elves, but there's no mention necessarily of who they are. Just you do see that the pictures that are drawn, they do all have their own character. There's also some information about the high forest and how the roads were put through the forest with the help of the gnomes, the halflings that frequented the area, and even with some of the more conflicting settlements that had already popped up, the fringe areas around that heavily wooded area back in time. Even the humans did help with establishing trade links and bolstering the supply lines, such that, from what you can gather, to allow Silvery Moon to be what it is to this day. Is there anything more specific that you'd like to try and tease out of this book?
No, really. Well, I don't know. It's I think at the moment, I think there's more answers to gain from this book, so I'm just going to be studying the pages. Is anything that I notice? I mean, I know something happened the first time I read it, so I guess that's in the back of my mind. Is there anything that can trigger that again?
You do notice that from some of the paragraphs that are through within the columned pages. From time to time, you do notice that some of the more important pieces of information, they seem to be written in a bit of a different ink. It almost has like a pearlescent emerald hue to it, but they aren't frequent throughout the book. I think 1 in every 10 paragraphs are written with this ink. But even then, a lot of the pages are more notes. They are more monologue entries, more thoughts of someone, or almost like a biography of events, rather than a detailed, factual almost how like instructions would be written. There is almost a slight change in the way that the calligraphy, the writing, is put within the book, almost as if there's been multiple authors from time to time, but not as if the book has been passed through time. There are certain paragraphs nestled next to others that do change the way that certain words are written, how the lines are inked on the pages. It doesn't necessarily have an author at the front either. The preface of this book is devoid of any information leading you to any name or any number of names that would have put all the information within this book.
Okay.
Thundering behind you, Harshnag is peering off into the distance. He does narrowly miss the cart from time to time just because of the pace that he has to maintain. I don't know if any of you have walked next to a shorter person than yourselves. You do have to sort of take a step back from time to time to make sure that you don't leave them behind. There are a couple of areas where he does stray from the trail, only when a certain feline party member is bending his ear for information, trying to tease out information from the runes that she has written within her notebook, the rubbings, the pictures, the diagrams that she has collated over the several weeks of your travel. Bree, you are nestled atop Harshnag's shoulder. You've managed to not impede his movement or his own comfort, but you've managed to grip onto some parts of his strapping of his bone armor. Is there anything specific that you are discussing with Harshnag at this time?
Probably not anything specific, because I would have done that immediately as soon as we set off. So right now it's just me practicing Jotun with him and trying to improve the overall ability and fluency in Jotun and Giant.
Okay.
So just having a conversation, really. Every now and then I'll try to get some information and see if he can have a look at my notes. But I know the main focus is making our way up, and so he's got to pay attention.
So with the small conversational pieces that you have attempted to speak in Giant, you do notice that when you're trying to translate back from the more common Giant tongue, certain things do get lost in translation. This is where the different ranges of dialects, from Frost Giant to Fire Giant to even Stone Giant, from some of the books that you've read within Zephyros's library way back when. It's no wonder that this ancient language is rarely spoken or frequently spoken. At least some of the more complicated dialects like the Fire Giant, and even Harshnag has described to you that there is a language even older than his home language that he speaks when he's around other Frost Giants. That of the Titans. But only a very few fringe areas he has witnessed these scribings, these almost hieroglyphs to a point. Even he says it's incredibly rare to find these tomes, these pieces of writing, which to a point is you get a sense of sadness with these small pockets of conversations, almost as if he wishes that it was never lost in the first place. He is very pleased, he's very surprised how well you've gripped the more common tongue of Jotun. And from time to time he does speak to you in the common tongue rather than speaking to you in common.
Every time, even if he's responding to me in common, I am actively trying to do it in Jotun and Giant, just to improve and practice.
Let me just quickly look at your character sheet. Where would it be? Abilities, wouldn't it? So, in your languages, if you could please, for the Giant that is listed in your languages, can you please put in brackets after that common? And then could you also add another row to that language in Giant Frost? It does seem to be that the Frost Giant, as well as the Hill Giant dialects of Jotun, are the more easiest to bleed in and out of. However, the very rare chance that you've been able to see the Fire Giant way of speaking, even the Stone Giant paragraphs that you're trying to remember from Zephyros's library, that is definitely harder to grip.
Mm-hmm.
The final party member sat next to Loch as he points his elven party member back on track, almost having a sense of foreboding as he goes back up the familiar trail on his way with his party members in tow back to his home of Bolgantek. Adrick, what is going through your mind as you and your 5 other members of your party are going up the gorge path?
I'm obviously worried that I've not been able to make contact with any family members. I'm feeling guilty that I've not tried in the last 3 months either. And wondering about what's been going on while I've been away. Have raiders come back, or has something come out from deep underground, or don't know, just quietly fretting, I suppose is the word for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also, I suppose, half planning what I'm going to say when I get in front of the people who, the way they treated me and my family before I left. Yeah. So getting worked up again about that. I thought I'd left all that behind me on the walk before I met Loch, but now it's all bubbling back up again.
Hmm.
So worried, angry, tense, getting ready to shout at something, possibly.
Yes, it's been roughly, I believe, 2 months since you've seen anyone or heard from anyone of your home city. This remote dwarven, you could say at its heyday it was a dwarven citadel, but with what you know and with how few people are there to maintain the city, definitely is lesser than what it was in its heyday. But alas, you are making good time considering this pair of oxen are pulling this cart up from here and there quite steep inclines for a road. But you do notice that you have hit more of the rockier parts of this gorge path, but you are a good handful of hours away from getting to the exit of the gorge path, but to the entrance of the final part of the trail to your home city.
Is there anything unusual I can see around? Does it all look the same, or is it?
It looks all the same with the weathering of the rain, the snow melting here and there, especially with how odd and tumultuous the weather can be. You do notice that a few landmarks here and there have been either toppled over because there's been some subsidence here and there, or there is a new landslip or landslide just slightly off in the distance on the edges of the mountain pass. Looking up to the mountain sides, so right up at its peaks, you can see that it is starting to snow, but not in a denser flurry. It is only just dusting the tips, the peaks of the mountains high above. But the chill is definitely setting in. You're quite surprised how cold it is for this time of the year, and how windy it is. But you are making good time. So, with all of you walking alongside the cart, Adrick, you figure, as I mentioned just now, it's going to be at least 2 hours to get to the exit of this path. Is there anything that the 5 of you would like to discuss or talk amongst yourselves? You've been going for about, you left, what was it? You left around about 8:30 in the morning from the northern village. You would have been travelling for no less than 4 hours thus far. So it is just about to be just a little over high sun, but because of how tall the mountains are, you can't quite see where the sun is going to poke over. Hence why it's so cold. You are in the shadows of the mountains currently.
Adrick's going to try to pull himself out of where his head is at, and he'll start pointing out interesting features of the landscape, interesting to him, which everyone else can be totally absorbed by. So yeah, there's naming all the mountain peaks as we go, and pointing out, there's a river coming up here. We'll just the road will just go straight through it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, then there's little places around here. I was about to mention there's a good place to catch rabbits, but I decided not to say that at the last minute.
Loch's definitely listening with keen ears.
Mm.
He's talking about the nature of the land. I'm definitely going to be listening to that.
There are a couple of briars here and there, Loch, that you would definitely expect. But with how high up that you are and how cold it is, you are surprised that they are surviving. They're very hearty. They would definitely be very ingrained within the soil with how deep they would have to go for any form of nutrients within the soil. Water will be in abundance, especially with how glacial this place feels. But yeah, definitely wouldn't want to get scratched by a couple of these bushes that you're going past.
Cool.
Yeah, and then Adrick will sort of lapse into silence again.
So 15, 20 minutes, half an hour passes of this, not necessarily eerie silence, but it does have a sense of awkwardness to it, only because of Loch. You definitely feel that Adrick doesn't particularly want to go back. With yourself definitely moving from your home due to not the most pleasantest of reasons. It wouldn't be a long shot to assume that Adrick is feeling sort of the same almost resentment that you may feel against those that would be back home within the Silverwood.
I'll give Adrick a bit of a concerned look and sort of not really whisper, but just quietly give him a bit of a nudge. And you okay?
Yeah, as good as I can be. Good as I can be.
Yeah, I'll give him a study and just keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't replied, you know. I'll say to Loch.
They haven't replied yet.
No, neither my brother nor my sister. The message seemed to go. They just didn't reply.
There could be a number of reasons for that, though.
Suggest one.
Well, it could be otherwise indisposed.
Both of them too busy to think, oh, hi, welcome home.
Well, let's not jump to conclusions until we get there. How far are we from reaching there?
A couple of hours to the bottom, I suppose, and then we've got to get up. I don't know how we'll get the cart up. We'll see when we get there.
Let's hold off from jumping to conclusions, though, mate. We'll be there soon enough.
Yeah.
I might spare the horses on a little bit more quicker, subtly, so that it isn't obvious, but I'll spare them on.
These oxes that look like horses.
Oxes, yes. Spare the oxes on a little quicker.
Okay.
And then look amazed that they're not actually horses.
You do know that it's a little bit different to handle oxen than it is to handle horses. So you go into sort of like autopilot mode and go, oh, hang on. Hang on. Okay, fine. You do spur them on. However, because of how rocky the path is getting, you, after 5-10 minutes of this jostling about, and Coco, you probably were trying to write something down for a little bit, and you've kind of, your notes on this page that you've written probably have to be rewritten again, and it's not particularly pleasant. Loch, you notice that your two party members, your passengers, it might be best to just tone it back down to the pace that you had 5-10 minutes ago.
You hear like a squawk in it's like not even, was it like a, just saying fuck, but in like a Kenku way.
I'll slow it back down just a fraction. Do it in increments to see how slow it can get before the ride smoothens out.
Weylin, you're about 30-40 feet in front of the party. Because of how slow the cart has gone down to, you look back and go, oh, whoops, you probably could just take a step back. But as you do and as you look forward, you feel the ground tremble beneath your padded feet. Not as if the ground below you is falling away, but you feel that something has happened further on within this mountainous pass. You do feel a breeze grace your whiskers that has been sort of shot down the path. Bree, you also feel that atop Harshnag's shoulders, you too also feel this this more direct breeze, there's this gust come down the mountain pass.
I'll look up in the direction of the breeze.
Mm-hmm. Nothing is there, just the mountainsides.
Was it just one gust, or is it like a continuing?
It was just one gust.
Okay.
Because you have whiskers, etc. You're very sort of tuned in on the environment that you're around, and this probably would have gone unnoticed to the others. But you definitely felt this wave of pressure wash over you.
What sense, because of this feeling, what sense of danger does it give me?
You are now alert from the winds that have gone down the alignment of the trail, or that have ripped across the mountain tops, almost like creating these little turbulent mini gusts that actually go across you, not through you. This one has gone through you and was opposed to the slight breeze that was just coming down sort of your neck, especially with being this high above your party members.
How long was the tremor?
Probably no more than 3 seconds. Almost as if it was almost as if like a small rumble.
Yeah. Would it have felt like a landfall from a distance?
That wouldn't be too far of a stretch of the imagination, especially with how fragile some of the areas have been that you've passed in the last hour or so.
Right.
There are a few boulders here and there that are new to being on the gorge floor, this mountain floor. And as you look up, you can see the pockets that it would have fallen from.
Okay. Weylin would just sort of like wave the cart towards him and double the distance in front.
Okay, no worries.
I'll lean over to Harshnag into his ear and say, "You should probably be careful and be quiet moving forward, just in case."
As you alert him, not alarm him. He does unsling his large axe from his back, and he is now gripping it with both of his large, sort of pale blue hands. As he does slow down to match the pace of the cart a bit more, but you are now in front of the cart, probably about 10-15 feet, with Weylin just in front of you. The cart is going towards Weylin. So you naturally are starting to sort of turn to the direction of where Weylin has stood, just atop a pinnacle within the ground that has been undulating for some time.
Yeah. So I'd like to be around about 60 foot in front, just to ensure ground sturdiness and survey the area.
I'm going to make you roll for this.
Oh,
we don't do enough dice rolling in this game. Okay, what would you like to roll? Nature, survival, or perception?
Oh, give me a second. It's been a while since I've used the. Oh, apologies. I can't find the area where the stars are.
The area where the stars are?
Yeah, the proficiencies. Where are they?
So on skills.
Skills.
So on the left-hand side of the row, you should have stars and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Apologies. Okay.
That's all good. It's been a while.
Yeah. I'll take a perception roll, please.
Take a perception roll. Okay. There we go. Okay. You've rolled an 11 plus your 8, which is a 19, which is a success. So as you go further in front, hopping from a couple of mounds here and there, going on some rocky outcroppings, you do notice that with just how friable the ground is, you're a little bit alarmed in that you have potentially been missing what looks to be footprints in the direction that you are headed. They are at the same shape and size as that of the footprints that were left in the southern village, but because of the shale, brittle-like ground that you are on, it is a bit hard to see truly how big these footprints would be. You also get the indication that it's not just one set of footprints as such. There does seem to be some smaller groups of footprints in the more muddier, wet areas around on the floor.
Right, okay. I'm going to double back, report that to the party, and then then plan to go out to something like 100 foot in front. But before that, everybody, there seems to be the same footprints that we found in the villages, and also some smaller ones, which would imply that they went this way.
Any indication as to how recent?
Due to the condition of the ground, I can't really tell.
I'll hop down. Am I able to get any indication as to how recent or long ago it was?
Unfortunately not. As you give the reins over to Adrick and the cart comes to a stop, you walk over to where Weylin has been pointing. Yes, there do seem to be these large depressions, so these unnatural depressions within the floor, but trying to work out how long ago they were made, is slightly beyond you. The smaller footprints, however, you try to scoop out some of the water that is within the footprint. These footprints are probably made within the last 24 hours.
Lick it. Lick the water.
Lick it.
Lick it.
Drink it. Drink the puddle water. Drink it now. Be one with your enemies.
Loch reaches down, leans down, and tastes the water.
Oh my god! So you just have this.
I'm joking. Just starts swilling it round his mouth.
Earthy.
Jesus. Lots of minerals in that water.
Are those big footprints under the little ones, or are the little ones under the big ones?
Apologies, Adrick. Is that a question to myself, or is that a question to Weylin and Loch?
It's obviously a question to Weylin and Loch, because you're not there, are you?
I pull the page back. Is that me or you guys?
and I shall expedite that by asking the DM.
Okay. The grouping of footprints, yes, from time to time, the larger ones do seem to cover the smaller ones, but they seem to be going in a pack, a group.
So my point being, Weylin and Loch, is can you tell whether the larger footprints are following the little ones, or the little ones are following the larger ones? So are people running from the village?
So Weylin squints at the footprints.
Okay, so Weylin, you understanding what Adrick is trying to tease out of this, the worry in his voice. These smaller footprints are actually bigger than what an average dwarf footprint within a shoe would make. You would hazard a guess that these were either made by a large humanoid of some sorts, but definitely smaller than an ogre, and most certainly smaller than a giant.
So larger than humans?
Yes.
What sort of height are we talking here?
So it looks to be a size 14 foot. So
Okay.
you would say these beings, these things that have made the footprints, would be no less than 7 feet tall.
Yeah, between 7 and 8, really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I relay that information to Adrick.
Yeah, well, okay. My hope was that there were people escaping from the village heading towards the fortress on top of the mountain, or people pursuing the giants or the large creatures that have taken people from the villages. But
Yeah, I suspect it's a warband.
headed towards my home.
Aye.
Yeah.
Should we keep going?
I'll give everyone a bit of a nudge. Let's get going.
Right. Okay. So Weylin goes out 100 feet.
Okay.
Gives everybody a wave.
All right. Bree, being perched atop Harshnag's shoulders, you actually have probably the clearer eye shot of Weylin, so you can keep an eye on how far ahead he is going.
Okay.
Everyone else, even though you are going up, the path does undulate from time to time, and there is a blind spot here and there that Weylin does disappear into from time to time. But Bree, you have clear sight of your rabbit party member.
Okay. I'll stay focused on him just to make sure we don't lose him.
Okay.
How much of that conversation did I overhear? Because I wasn't really.
You would have heard it. You were all around the cart. Harshnag would have stopped. He doesn't move unless you guys move. Sorry, unless you all move.
Okay.
With the cart moving, 10, 15 minutes pass again. Adrick, you realise that you should be approaching the exit / entrance to the next part of this mountain gorge. The rocks and the mountainside should be getting a bit harsher. Weylin, you're maintaining that 100 feet in front, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You all realise that you're about to hit a bend in the mountain pass. Weylin, you're about 30, 40 feet away from the main apex of this bend.
Okay. So Weylin will stop at the bend and wait for the wagon to be at least within like 20 feet, and then I'll sort of get the distance again.
Okay, as you get to 20 feet to this bend, you can hear the movement of rubble in the distance. And you can just over the winds that pass through this area, the winds have picked up, presumably because you're getting higher and higher within this environment. You almost make out the heavy breathing of something, almost as if it's exasperated.
Right. Okay. Me being quieter than the wagon behind me, probably at 100 feet. I creep a little bit closer, within 10 feet of the corner.
Okay, so within 10 feet of the corner. So
yeah, a slower movement speed, so the wagon will be going about twice my rate at this point.
Okay, so please bear with me. Just going to share a map with you, okay, Weylin?
Okay.
Oh, I'll just share it with you. I think it's that. Does that work? No.
Oh, I don't see it now.
No, sorry, I'm pressing the wrong bloody buttons.
It's all right. I'm rusty too.
There you go. Now, give it a minute to load.
Okay, it's loaded.
Excellent. Okay, so you are at the bottom of that map, okay?
Yep.
As you peer around the corner... sorry, just remind me, have you given the order to stop the cart, or is the cart... Or have you not made any...
The cart's still going. I've gone 10 feet, half the speed of the wagon, trying to be sneaky. So the wagon will be about 80 foot behind me.
Right. Okay. As you peer through a briar around the corner, you can see in front of you one kneeling on the floor, trying to catch its breath, whilst another of the same kind of being is propping itself up against a large, tall, jutting, like piercing a pillar of stone out of the floor. Are two giants clad in the familiar black armor, completely winded from almost as if they've been with it just them. So your focus is just drawn to them. I'll get to some other bits in a sec. Almost as if they've been sparring. There's nothing else that would indicate that they have been fighting something. But again, there's nothing to indicate as to why they would have been fighting each other. You can see this. As you peer around trying to take in some more of your surroundings, you can see that there are three other slightly beaten up humanoid creatures. These creatures are of the same build, the same mottled green skin, the same fanged maw as that of what you have that you fought back at the homestead that evening that you met Kokopelli along the road. Again, almost adorning the same type of armor in relation to the giants that are in front of you. So let me just work out what ones I've got to turn on. Apologies. That one, and that one. Okay, do you see all that?
Yep, I see that. In the time that it takes me to look around, let's say the cart's like 60 feet away now. I'll hold my hand up with a fist, of course, signaling stop,
okay.
and race back.
Bree, you see how quickly Weylin shoots his hand up with a clenched fist in the air, in the distance.
What does that mean?
Normally, a raised clenched fist with someone in front is a stop sign. Oh, sorry. Is that?
That is what Bree is thinking.
Apologies. Mansplaining again. Apologies.
Brilliant.
So Bree says that out loud to Harshnag.
I think he says stop.
What does that mean? Why is he doing this?
Has Bree never been to scout school?
All right.
But yeah, I mean, you can just tell by the way I'm sort of turning around and vaulting back, how of what sort of urgency it is. So act accordingly.
Okay, Harshnag, I think that means stop. Like I usually put like my hands up in a not in a fist, but just like palm up.
You
That
can
means stop
hear
where I'm-
you can hear like the clenching of his fists around his axe as he's listening to you, and he peers off into the distance, looking at where Weylin is. He suddenly turns and puts his hand down towards yourselves, Adrick and Loch, on the cart, trying his best not to startle the oxen. Loch, are you steering the cart?
Yeah, I've definitely
Okay.
understood. Can I see Weylin?
Hang on 1 second, my friend.
All right.
I'm going to need you to roll animal handling, please.
Oh, okay. Roll. Oh.
Fantastic. You see the speed that Harshnag turns around, and as he starts to bend, you've already got the reins pulled on these oxen as they dig their hooves into the fragile ground. The cart is now stopped safely without any noise.
Can I see Weylin with his doing his fist?
You can just see him sort of crouched down by one of the larger faces of the mountainside. The surrounding area has become a lot harsher looking, erring on the side of untouched, except to that of the elements. Weylin, just so we sort of understand what you're doing currently, you see that the cart has now stopped. Is there anything that you are doing?
Well, I'm getting to the cart. It's only really 20 meters.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
Sure.
so I get to the cart and just ignore 3 and then say trolls and 2 fire giants.
Okay.
And then I point just around the corner. So literally, the only 2 words that are said are trolls, fire giants.
Okay.
I'm obviously still crouched.
Yeah. Okay. So just trying to pick 20 meters. So okay. So Coco, you're in the cart. You don't really notice anything, but you do realise that the cart is stopped. Is there anything you'd like to do?
Squawk. I don't know. I'll sort of put my pen and paper down, see what's going on.
Okay. You poke your beak out of the front. This long, black, crow-like beak just appears between Adrick and Loch's head.
What's going on, guys?
I'll fill everyone in that's around me. I can see Weylin sort of crouched down, looking a little bit tense.
Harshnag crouches down to all of you and goes, "Right, I'll take the biggest one. I'll go first. Who do you want?" He seems really eager to get in there.
I'll go for the furthest one away.
I like your thinking.
We can't see these guys now.
You can't know. You're just around the bend.
Okay. I'll start slowly creeping forwards.
Okay.
Just to see if I can get like an eye on him.
Okay, you're about
Right.
15 feet behind Weylin. Weylin, sorry, you went back to the bend, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, no worries. Adric, sorry, you're about to speak.
I was just going to say, guys, fire giants not going to be much good casting fire spells on them. But what are trolls like with fire?
Oh yes, burn them alive, Adric. Harshnag is now sort of like upright, and he's just starting to walk towards the corner.
Upon hearing this, can I look down at my hands and study them for a minute and then start contemplating, would I be able to create a fire elemental?
If you were to give me 3 minutes, yes, you would be able to make a fire elemental.
What about those earth elementals?
Yeah, what about those air ones, eh? What about those air ones?
Oh, so busy being selfish having a baby.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Priorities, man.
Look, Chris, your baby's born. Shut up. There's an earth elemental.
The thing is, so let me just quickly look at that spell of yours, because
Yeah.
it's only if you want to conjure multiple ones. That's where I get a little bit stuck because I haven't put it into the program yet. Sorry, let me just condense all this in your character sheet, because my god, I forgot how complicated this was. Okay, it was conjure minor elementals. Okay, Elemental challenge rating 2. Let me see if I've got that. Oh, of course, it's challenge rating 5. Right, okay.
Is this something that Loch thinks he might be able to do next week?
No, he can do it. Oh, I have it. Fire elemental medium. There you go. I've got one.
Wait.
I've got one, buddy. We're all good. So if you want to do that, by all means.
Okay. Probably not, but you know.
Sake. Oh, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice to you guys in this combat, but it might not be now.
A boulder falls on Loch.
Max HP. Reinforcement.
We're already running max HP in this game. It's okay, apologies. Right, back in the room. So, with realising that, let's burn them alive, running through Loch's head. So, Weylin, you're up front. Adrick, you've asked a question about burning. Bree, you are on Harshnag's shoulder. You are sort of now away from the group, and you are rapidly approaching the corner. Coco, you're technically the only one who hasn't really done anything. Is there anything you'd like to contemplate before this obvious encounter that is about to unfold?
I sort of giggle to myself, and I would like to just give bardic inspiration to the giant because I thought it was funny.
Okay, so you want to give bardic inspiration to the giant.
Where's the map for this one as well? Was it called?
I will share it with you all in a moment.
Sick.
While you're doing that, Adrick's going to dig his ironstone out. Chuck that up as well.
Okay, not a problem. So if you want to equip your iron stone, that's fine by me. I'm just trying to work out because I've got Harshnag's size all wrong for some reason. Sorry.
Can I, while Harshnag is running to the giants, can I ask him to see if he can launch me to the furthest one away? The furthest giant or troll away?
He looks at you. He takes one of his hands off of his one of his hands off the handle of his axe, and he almost sort of making a smallish platform towards the shoulder that you're perched on. He has his palm of his hand sort of level with his shoulder, and he looks to you and gives you a wink as he then brings back focus towards the corner, ever more encroaching where Weylin is currently perched. Weylin, you can feel the ground sort of rumble behind you as Harshnag is thundering towards you.
Epic.
I'll step onto his hand and wait.
Okay. Right. So, Adrick, you've prepped that. Are you now off the cart? I just want to know the turn of events of how everyone's getting to this corner.
Yeah, I'm going to scamper off the cart. As DM, could you short rest me as well? Or long rest me, sorry.
Good point. Everyone should have had a long rest. Bear with. Right. Oh.
From yesterday. And...
Rest. Lock. Right click. Rest. Long rest. Coco. Long rest. So I'm having to do this manually because I'm not entirely sure if it's going to screw up the combat tracker I've got. Okay. Weylin. Long rest. Okay. All of you now have the long rests all done.
Cool. Can I get then somewhere where I can see you round the corner? Because that's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. So you can run and catch up to Weylin and Harshnag. So you've jumped down from the cart. You are the third member of the party going towards the corner. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay, and then Coco, you'd be bringing up the rear.
Can Weylin cast Divine Favour on his bow in prep?
Yep, you can prepare that. Excellent. Okay, that's for 10 rounds, an extra 1d4. Coco, is there anything else? Have you put... Can you put Bardic Inspiration, please, on Harshnag?
I need the map. What's it called?
Oh, you can just drag it into the combat tracker. He's visible.
Ah, I see. 1 second.
So the combat tracker is top right. It's the crossed swords.
Yep, got yeah.
And then if you open up your character sheet, you can then click, drag, and drop the Bardic Inspiration onto Harshnag. Or you can just target him and then just
it's control left click in it.
Yeah, control left click on Harshnag. There you go.
And then I press the person button, don't I?
You press the person button, yeah.
Has it done it?
No.
Has it done it now?
No.
Hold on. Oh, shit. Let's try again.
Got actions. There we go. I saw. No.
Oh.
You're not targeting him now.
Am I targeting him now?
Oh, hang on. Sorry, you've got to. Oh, how have I written this? Effect target 10 minutes. Oh, it worked when I did it. Okay, odd. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So, and then you got to click on that plus or minus button for bardic inspiration. Okay. Perfect. All right.
Boopity boop.
So, what I want to do is I'm going to drag and drop everyone onto the map. Okay. So what we'll do is that I'll drag everyone onto the map. I will then ask everyone to roll initiative. We will then so all of you will have a surprise round. Okay. So if anything, movement will probably be key for you all trying to get into position, and then we will all act onto initiative rounds.